Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video with us soon to be opening the January winter transfer window is a wee scouting video look at a player that is said to be on Celtic's radar. One of the positions that Rodgers is very keen to reinforce in the January window is a left wing extra option. And it would appear that Celtic have been intensely scouting a young Norwegian player called Sondre Orjasaeter for the last several months. And it does look like there is a strong interest between Celtic and the club, although his club Sarpsborg in Norway are thought to be unlikely to want to sell him at this point in the season or at this point in his career. However, as the speculation in the media is increasing, I thought I would do a wee scouting video with some highlights of his recent season, as that has proven popular in the past and has given us some early information on players that we did go on to sign, such as Arne Engels most recently. Looking at some stats for Sondre Orjasaeter, as I said, plays for Sarpsborg now in the top division in Norway. One season there, having transferred in January 2024 for €700,000 from Sogndal, who are one division below, having spent 2 years there. He is 21, 5'11", 7 Norwegian under 21 caps, and his contract with Sarpsborg runs until the 31st of December 2017. And so it does look like Sarpsborg hold all the aces in terms of his contract and when and if they'll sell him. His current market value is said to be €6 million, so around about £5 million, and so obviously has jumped from being a 700,000 transfer in the start of 2024, and by the end of the year, his value has gone up by between 8 and 9 times, which is quite a remarkable step up in value. Looking at his season stats this year for Sarpsborg in the top Norwegian division, 32 games, 6 goals, 7 assists, so pretty reasonable output for goals and assists for a wide player. Does play left wing, can theoretically play left midfield or even right-sided wing. Over his whole career for Sarpsborg and for Sogndal, which is 3 seasons, 2022, 23 and then 24, 95 games, 15 assists, 15 goals, and so reasonable rather than great outputs over that period. That would average 5 goals and 5 assists over each year for these 3 seasons. Looking a wee bit more depth to his stats and ratings, his season rating this season is 7.31 out of 10, so pretty good rating there. Good ratings for passing, particularly good ratings for passing long balls. However, his crossing is rather poor, around about 1 in 3 success rate. He's pretty decent for his defensive midfield stats. Does tend to lose quite a lot of aerial duels, tend to give the ball away quite a bit as well, losing possession. And does have actually quite good stats for aspects such as dribbling, shots on goal, and chances created, and for all those he is up in the higher levels. And overall, his ratings in most areas are at least above average. In some are good. A few areas, such as his ability in the air, and retaining possession, both of which are rather poor. So now going to pop in some of those highlights. There's around about 5 minutes or so. There's the usual copyright disclaimer additions at the start and the end. And after that, I'll then give you my own thoughts regarding Orjasaeter as a player, and we'll take it from there. few other additional scouting videos for Orjasaeter on YouTube, and I've had a good look at all those as well. My overall thought is that Orjasaeter does look a good wide left player. Doesn't have the greatest amount of pace, but the pace is reasonable. He is generally strong on the ball and difficult to knock off the ball, although does seem quite keen to hit the ground when it suits him and try and buy a foul. Good strong dribbler, so it does appear quite difficult once he has got himself going on a dribble. Quite difficult to stop him. One thing that really struck me is that he really doesn't ever take on the fullback on the outside. Never looks to hit the byline. I think that's partly because he seems to lose all confidence in using his left foot for crossing. He is actually quite a capable crosser and passer with his left foot when he sets himself up, but he doesn't seem to have this spontaneous, quick ability to cross left-footed. So he is forever cutting inside, back onto his right foot to whip in a cross, or cutting inside to drive towards the box. Clearly a good long passer. Does show in this video clips also. She's quite good at tackling back, pressing in the midfield, although the clips do suggest this is actually more further up the pitch rather than breaking back into midfield to help out there. Does appear to have the ability to play more centrally in midfield as well, come off his wing and come drive through the middle. Also is a good finisher, I think, for a player who's primarily playing out wide. Seems to have to score all his goals in and around the box. Doesn't appear to be skilled at all shooting from distance, but does have a good powerful shot once he's in and around the 18-yard box. Overall, my thoughts are that Sondre Orjasaeter looks a decent player rather than he's a great player. His stats in his 3 years in Norwegian football are good but not great. His various ratings are all at the most good, with none of them really verging into the great or very good or excellent range. He does appear to be a player quite similar in many ways to players we have already, such as James Forrest, Luis Palma, and Nicholas Kuhn. Luis Palma and James Forrest especially don't tend to take on the player on the outside. They tend always to cut inside, although Palma does actually, particularly last season when he was playing more regularly, he was actually able to hit the byline and hit left-footed crosses. However, Palma and Forrest do tend to cut inside virtually always and whip in crosses right-footed, or Nicholas Kuhn also tends to do the same, but Nicholas Kuhn also can hit the byline, take the fullback on the outside, and although he is strongly left-footed, Nicholas Kuhn actually does cross the ball quite nicely from the byline when needed right-footed. His finishing ability, his passing ability looks good, but not great. Around, for me, a level below Luis Palma, a level below James Forrest. And if he had the more electric pace that players such as Maeda and Yang and the long-forgotten Marco Tilio had, then that might be a factor in his favour. But I personally am not convinced that Sondre Orjasaeter is at the level at this point to be a player coming into Celtic squad and being a backup to Dyson Maeda or an upgrade on Forrest or Luis Palma. Now, you may have your own thoughts yourself, and so do pop those into the comment section. You maybe are an avid watcher of Norwegian football and have much more week-to-week and day-to-day knowledge of Orjasaeter. In summary, my own thoughts, I think what we've got already is better in terms of our first choice, which is Dyson Maida at the moment, and what we've already got in backups such as Yang and Palma and Forrest is better than Orjasaeter, and so he would in essence be, for me, a player being brought in with an idea to try and improve him over the next 12, 18 months, so that he is there to be available to replace James Forrest once James Forrest retires, assuming that by that time Palma, Yang, Tilio are no longer around. Before we finish off, just a wee polite suggestion, encouragement. If you are new to the channel, not yet subscribed, please do click that subscribe button. It does make me so happy just to see the subscriber numbers going up by 1 or 2 per day. Do pop your thoughts into the comment section regarding your own assessment of Orjasaeter, and if you do like the video, please do click that like button. It does help the channel and does help spreading the good news of Celtic Football Club to more and more folk. And so until the next video, goodbye and hail, hail.